The Lucha Lounge. Yeah. Welcome everybody. Now that I've completely lost cool points, but we're not going to talk about cool points. That's not what the show's about. This is the Lucha Lounge. Thanks everyone for viewing, subscribing, or whatever it is that you do upon viewing this. This week's show is going to tackle the subject of my involvement from beginning to now in the wrestling industry and how it has affected my viewing or being a viewer of wrestling as opposed to when I was just a fan. And this question was brought to me by Calvin 8 Hobbs. A really good question. He's got some good stuff. So I go to him and go check out his videos. But I wanted to thank him for the question. I won't go into too much detail. I'll just kind of cover a little bit, and I'll answer the question, both aspects of the question at the same time. I started in 2000. That's first time I went to a class, and first time I took a bump, first time I got into wrestling jargon. And then I was a viewer more, it was like homework. You know, wrestling classes was my college in essence, or my trade school. I was studying to become a professional wrestler, and watching the shows and watching wrestling footage was part of your homework. But it was more from a critical standpoint, what guys were doing right, what guys were doing wrong, as far as from a move standpoint. So that's how I looked at wrestling in 2000. Plus I was on the internet, I was looking at the dirt sheets, I was reading the rumors, reading the spoilers, trying to get the insider's view, and trying to get educated as fast as humanly possible, because I really was aspiring to do it at a high level. Not doing it, I'm just saying that back then that was my aspiration. And as time went on, I still found that I was still a fan. There was still stuff I really liked, still stuff that I marked out to. And even though we were told marking out or being a fan was a bad thing, I didn't view it as a bad thing. I came into wrestling as a fan. I enjoyed watching wrestling. That's why I got into it. Obviously I liked the performing aspect. There were different aspects of it, but it boiled down to I had a passion for the business, which stemmed from my love for wrestling. So probably 2000, 2002, until I really started to feel like I was getting it, I was really critical of guys, how they talked, the jargon, spots, all of it. I was critical, I was an analyst, I wrote stuff down, I watched wrestling over and over, matches, shows, the whole nine. And once I felt like my peers and friends of mine who were progressing in the business were paying me compliments and saying that I seemed to know what I was doing, I kind of pulled back from being so critical. Now I was just watching it to see my friends, or watching it for the enjoyment again. Around 2005, I became a booker. And anyone watching this or viewing this probably has an idea what a booker is. Bookers are the matchmakers, the guys who put shows together. I became a booker for a show that's main focus was to draw attendance, but also develop talent for our televised show. In Arlington, Texas, PCW, one of the few times that I'll mention them, had, in essence, a developmental show. That's how I felt it was. So I became kind of a creative director, a talent agent, a match agent, a booker. And then I found myself looking at the shows from a completely different standpoint. What made shows work? What made certain characters work? Why? Again, more from the analytical point of view, not from anything else other than I was trying to figure out how they got it right, how they got it wrong, and what I would do differently. And then I used that to drive my own shows. And I booked shows for roughly a little bit over a year, weekly shows, built them kind of to a big show type of thing, type of situation, even though we ran the same day every week. We ran the same day. But I built it to big shows. Certain shows had bigger meaning. We would tape certain shows, so on and so forth. But I found that once I came to bookers, a lot of that changed. I was no longer a booker of a show. When I came to Booker T's, it was no longer the main top talent of a show. I had to leave all of that and leave all that thinking, and I came to Booker's, and he had a certain viewing where view it as a fan, view it as how you would like to view it. So my viewing has become, I mean, I have friends that are in WWE. I have friends who are in TNA. I have friends who worked for Ring of Honor. I have friends that are, you know, trying to get to the next level. And so, you know, and I have friends who are, like I said, in the locker room. So I look at it more from the worker standpoint. I still mark out to stuff. You know, there are matches that I look at that I mark out to. I mark out to certain guys for stupid reasons, whether because they do a great pose, because they got a cool catchphrase, or they're great on the mic. I look at guys who are kind of my contemporaries as well, but I'm not so critical of it. I want to have fun. Ultimately, I think I want to view it from a fan standpoint, from a fan in the purest sense, the love of just watching it, of losing yourself for those couple of hours. You know, and getting that feeling back of when it was when I started viewing it, and the awe that I have. And I have awe for some of the guys. I have a lot of respect for a lot of the guys. I'm not so critical. So hopefully that answers the question. If it feels a little rushed and I need to go a little more into detail, I will. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you just want to view, subscribe, please do. I look forward to the comments. I look forward to the questions. I look forward to all of it. My next video, actually, if I don't have a topic brought up to me or questions, my next video is probably going to cover the guys who are the quote-unquote shooters on the internet. As far as, and I'm not talking workers, I'm talking guys on YouTube. Not in a derogatory sense, just my views of what you guys do. So look for that. Probably here pretty soon, and if I can, I'll probably do it right after this video. So keep watching, keep enjoying, keep commenting, stay cool, stay sexy. Ultimately, if you're cool, you're already in the Lucha Lounge. Thanks.